Common law versus married. You want to talk about that, so go
Okay,
ahead.
so huge distinction. Each one of those paths brings different rights and obligations. Marriage, we all understand, you go through a formal ceremony. It is either religious or civil, it doesn't matter. But if you go through a form of marriage that is recognized, whether with the captain of the ship, the priest, the rabbi, the minister, the guy at the Vegas casino, and get a certificate, you're married. It means that from the moment you get married, there's an automatic entitlement to equalization of property. In English, dividing up 50-50, all the stuff you have from the day you get married until the day you separate, regardless of where it comes from. Big, 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 big minefield, the matrimonial home. So many people think that if I owned a house at 123 Pleasant Drive for 5 years before I got married, and it's still just in my name, the fact that I married him or her and we separate a year later doesn't mean anything. Wrong, you just gave away half the house. I don't care if it was worth 20 million bucks the day you got married and he or she didn't put a dime into it. You get married, live in it, and it's the home you live in on the date of separation. By definition, boom, it's now the matrimonial home under Section 18 of the Family Law Act. And if you don't have a marriage contract that excludes it, you're going to give away half of it. Your real estate lawyer, God bless your real estate lawyer, probably won't tell you about it because they probably don't think about it. The other big mistake people make, common law or married, is they decide, well, the great way to show their love and affection for their newly partnered up or betrothed is to take that property and put it in joint names, thinking, well, it was mine before. If something goes wrong, I still get it back. Wrong. The moment you do that, you have given a gift. There's a presumption of gift when you put a house, a bank account, a car, an investment, the dog in joint names. Be very, 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 very careful about putting anybody else's name on something if you don't want to give half of it to them. Giving half of it to them may sound like a wonderful idea the first 3 or 4 times you're dating, you're naked, you're happy. When you're separating and you can't stand the oxygen they breathe, trust me, you will have second thoughts about that decision. And then you go to a guy like me and say, can you fix it? Some of these things are fixable, but there's a better way to do it. Don't make the mistake in the first place. So back to common law and married. Married automatically gives an entitlement to make a claim for spousal support, regardless of how long you've been together. So a very short-term marriage can still bring a spousal support obligation because you're married, and you then become a spouse as defined under the Divorce Act and the Family Law Act. If you're common law, as I mentioned earlier, before any spousal support obligation can even technically arise, you have to have a continuous period of cohabitation for 3 years. Continuous means you're sharing the same roof, the same address. You don't have alternate residences where you live from time to time, and it's continuous, no separations in between. Or you live in a relationship of permanence where there is a child. What does that mean? It's a bit of a non-specific definition. I would say if you're together for any more than a couple of months and you decide to have junior, odds are you've crystallized a potential spousal support obligation. Whether married or common law, rights of children, custody, access, child support are the same. There's no difference between being married or common law when it comes to fighting over custody, who gets the kids, do you or do you not pay child support, what the entitlement is. The big distinction is automatic 50-50 division of property when you're married, no automatic 50-50 division of property when you're living together. We will talk, if you want to, and you're really bored, about a concept called constructive trust and just enrichment, which is how people get property rights when they're not married, based on how they lived together, who contributed what, how things were owned, that sort of stuff. But those are the big distinctions.